Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today we have the Bestech Toucan. I feel like this week has been a series of knives that you guys have told me to get, and I haven't, and then I did, and then I liked them. And this is another one in kind of that unintentionally ongoing series. This is one of the D2 G10 ball bearing flipper line from Bestech, which they make a lot of really good ones. And this one is, I gotta say, yeah, maybe my favorite. It's pretty darn good. I'll compare it against another Bestech here in a bit, and that maybe I like a bit more, but it's pretty darn close. The Toucan, as you can see, it's kind of a bit more stylized knife than they usually do in this D2 range. It does have kind of a complex blade shape, got a little bit of recurve, a lot of belly, bit more of a milled kind of handle. It's really pretty blue backspacer and stuff. It definitely, it's like I said, a bit more stylized, but still a really useful knife and just very well done. And there's a whole lot of stuff I really like about this. We will get into it after I give you some stats and we can get that out of the way. You have an overall length of 8.4 inches, blade length of 3.5 inches, blade thickness of 0.15 inches, handle thickness fairly thick at 0.61 inches, and a weight definitely not super light, but it's a 5.3 ounces. It's not a tank by any means, and there is some milling in there, but it's still, I guess, by modern standards for a G10 flipper like this, a bit heavy. Not crazy so, but it's a weighty thing for sure. Let's do some size comparisons. First of all, we'll go get some of our standards. You have your Spyderco Paramilitary 2. A little bit longer in overall length than that. Blade length is pretty similar, but you're getting just a tick more usable area on this if you count the recurve and all that stuff. It gets kind of complicated when you get into that. I'm going to add this one to the standards, I think, for a while, because I have one now. This is another one you guys all told me to get, your Cold Steel Code 4. Very similar in overall length and size to that, other than this is infinitely thinner. Your Ontario Rat Model 1, sorry. I feel like Nick Shabazz screwing that up. The Rat Model 1, about the same as that. A knife I think you're going to see this compared against. This is, it kind of reminded me of it in some ways, and I think I'm probably going to do a little battle to the death with these two, but this is the Civivi Praxis. Also similarly priced, if I didn't mention before. You're looking at, what, $63 for this, and, 43 for this, so, pretty similar in price. And also, we'll go with one last one. We'll do my other favorite of this Bestech kind of budget line, the Paladin. You can see very similar in overall length, but a much taller blade, much taller knife, and a bit more, as I said, a bit more stylized, I guess is the best word I would say to call that. As I said before, I do like the design of this. It doesn't look like too Mall Ninja or anything like that at all. It just has some swoopies to it. That's about it. That's the technical term for it, by the way, is swoopies. I really do like this backspacer. It does come in other colors. Let me pull up here and make sure I've got them all right, because there's a lot. It comes in this black with the blue backspacer and the satin blade. Comes in an orange or a green with the satin blade. It comes in all three of those colors with a partially serrated. And then one that I was really tempted by and I almost got, there's a tan with like a gray like stonewash blade. One thing I do like on this that I'm very glad Bestech has done, this is a fairly new model. I hope this is a portends of things to come. There's no stupid font on the other side. There's nothing. You've just got on the blade, you've just got the Bestech logo. Over here, you just got a little D2. It doesn't have like on the Paladin where they had the font, just the generic font, that said the name of the model. I don't need that. I know what I bought. So I'm really hoping that's going to be a thing that continues on. I have the cool Bestech pivot. I never managed to get it to line up quite right on this one, but still, I do like the look of it. Pretty decent hardware. Nothing really to write home about, but it's okay. You got a T8 here, a T6 everywhere else. The G10 feels really nice, and as you can see, some pretty complex milling, and they did a damn good job of it. It works really, really well. Now, as far as this blade goes, you're looking at D2 steel. Bestech D2 is definitely in recent iterations very, very, very good. And I haven't had a problem with it. I never had a problem with it. I know some people did years ago, or maybe not years ago, a year ago. But they've switched suppliers and all that stuff, and it seems to be great now. I really like the finish on the blade. I just like that vertical, they left a little bit of the machine lines there. And I really like it. As far as the shape goes, yeah, there is a bit of a recurve here. I found that works great for slicing cardboard and stuff. It's actually pretty nice. You still have a lot of normal blade shape up here for the, with all the belly and stuff like that. It works pretty good. Pretty thin behind the edge, 24 thousandths all the way across. Very high flat grind. So it's a pretty darn good slicer. It's actually a really good slicer. Especially with that little bit of recurve when you're cutting through like double layer cardboard, it holds it in there a little bit better. And I don't think it's enough that it's going to be a problem keeping it sharp. It's not a dramatic recurve or anything like that. I don't think it's going to be super hard. I imagine eventually if you sharpen it a lot over time, you're going to start to lose that little defined edge, but I might be wrong there. Who knows? Great tip on it. Pretty robust tip. I really like the blade shape on it. It's actually very, very useful. Would I complain if this was just flat? No, I would not at all. But it's a stylistic choice. I don't know. But that's really the only criticism I have with the blade at all. Ergonomically, I have zero criticisms. This is ergonomically, it is just as soon as I took it out of the box and I just gripped it, it was wow. It is so comfortable for my large hands with skinny fingers. It's got a lot of finger grooves and stuff on it, but they land perfectly on my hands, and it's really good. There's some jimping up here. It's not particularly aggressive. It's not going to do a whole lot. I wouldn't mind there to be a bit more of that. But yeah, and it's got this forward finger choil. It's flat, so you kind of don't really notice it as much. But it does work for my fingers. I can definitely fit a finger in there, and I've used it as such. No hot spots from the clip or anything like that. It's ergonomically, it's nigh on perfect. It's really, really excellent ergonomically, I do have to say. Carry-wise, pretty good. It's a big, thick knife, as I said, 0.61 on the handle thickness, but that's what makes it so comfortable in the hand. The pocket clip is all right. It's nothing to write home about. It's not super deep carry, but it doesn't stick out a whole lot. And I've been carrying this a fair bit, and it's been fine. As I said, it's not the lightest thing on the planet. That's about the only thing I really notice about it. The flipper tab isn't too terrible of a pocket pecker. As you can see, the clip is kind of angled, so that's not really much of an issue, but it is there. Yeah, it carries fine enough for what it is for this size of knife. It carries just fine. Action on it is outstanding. I do really like the flipper tab they use. You can push button it, or you don't need to though. Just light switching it, it'll come out every time. Detent is excellent. Bearings are super smooth. I haven't done anything to this, and it's still like this is just a couple days of breaking it in, and it's pretty much fall shut. This is not a terribly light blade, so that's not super surprising. But Bestech's, they always use the ceramic ball bearings and stuff, and they always work awesome. So yeah, pretty darn good action-wise. It is definitely a fun, fidgety little thing, for sure. Fidgety big thing, I guess I should say, for the stuff I review on this channel. Probably not a big knife for a lot of you guys, but it is to me. Overall, I have to say, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but this is another one of those knives. I feel like I said the same thing when I reviewed the Paladin, where it's just good, and there's not really much else to say about it other than it's really good. This blade shape is going to be polarizing for some people. If you want some style and some flash, I think this is a great knife for you. If you want something that's a bit more low key, but is basically the same material, same construction, that kind of stuff, maybe the Paladin's a better choice for you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the Paladin either. But yeah, I'm glad you guys pushed me to get one. I will probably be doing a comparison review, as I said, between this and the Civivi Praxis. I think they are very comparable in a whole lot of ways. A bit off in price, but not too much. and we'll see how that goes. I honestly don't know, because I really do like this. I like this too, but this is not my least favorite of the new Civivis, but it's my least favorite one that I kept, and compared to one of my favorite Bestech. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be a fun little thing to do. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Again, I wish I had more to say, but it's just really good, especially ergonomically. Ergonomically, this knife is super comfortable in the hand. So, and Bestech D2, ball bearings, all that good stuff. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Go check one out. If you want to go to White Mountain Knives, 10% off. You know, it's a SDWMK. That's all you got to use to get 10% off on one of these. So instead of being $63, it's whatever 10% off of that is. I'm not good at math, so go check that out. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.